share percentage. Because if you're giving an index, you don't have to give market growth. Growth index is the same thing as the index. So when you say percentage, what we mean to say is market share percentage. Because the reason we brought it in is, for example, if I'm just a small player, I might have gone from 1% to 2% market share, and I'm showing 100% growth. Whilst the bigger player might have gone from 50 to 51%, which is even bigger challenge, but the growth percentage will be low. So that we have just send a clarification that what we mean by percentage is the market share percentage in that index.
Okay, Imal, I will edit it.
Yeah, no, just drop a note to edit it and just drop a note to everyone who's
Yeah, sure.
then they will clarify, because a lot of people call and ask me about it. I also, because I was not looking at the application, I was a bit confused as to what the issue is. Hi Nipuni,
Hello,
you're the
Imal.
one today,
Hi.
right?
Sorry?
Hi, good to see you. You're the one today, right? Running it.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually, we can start letting people in, no, gradually.
Yeah, Gangan will get the people in, and we,
Yeah,
Nipuni, you just
for
say that.
people to meet, shall I take them in?
Yeah, take them in, and Nipuni, you just say that we are waiting for another 5 minutes to all
Yeah,
the
okay,
participants
sure,
to join.
sure.
Yeah, yeah.
And also, Nipuni, you will have to tell about the entry deadline extended until
Yes, so
21st
we'll,
October.
yeah.
I can hear the match.
I'm going to mute it.
No. I have no problem. I just said that.
I'm
We
just
can
following because the evening
we
one
can
is a crucial match.
joke a little bit. The biggest issue is suddenly I'm wondering, shit, is today now, because Hesara sent me that link. I thought, holy shit, is it brand excellence or DGs? It's
This
very
you are back
careful.
with. This
Oh,
you are
just
back with sort of.
imagine if I started talking about DGs today, finish, no?
That's true.
Shall we start? Yes, okay. So a very good afternoon to yes, very good afternoon to everyone who is here. We are having a question and answer session for the brand excellence, slim brand excellence 2021, because we've been getting some questions and clarifications. So we have the head of jury of slim brand excellence 2021 with us today, Mr. Imal Fonseka, the chairman of Multifinance PLC. So we are still getting people in. We are getting some, I think we have some more people to come in to raise questions from us. So we'll wait 5 more minutes and we'll start today's proceeding.
Nipuni, I just want to add one thing. Dear guests, please, if you all have any questions, please make sure to raise your hand. So then Nipuni will get the question. Nipuni will unmute you, and you can give the question to Nipuni. Then Imal will be answering it. So at once, only one person speak, because since it's an open Q&A session. Please raise your hand. Then Nipuni will direct that person to Imal. So Imal will answer your questions. Right? Thanks, Nipuni.
And yeah, and also, could you tell everyone to put their speakers on mute?
Yes.
Anyway, you're muting it automatically, right? Or no?
No, this time, Imal, like it's an open session. Like we don't
No
mute
problem.
them. They have to mute it.
No, fine. So you need to tell that other there'll be an echo going around.
Yeah.
Dimitri, we can start now, right?
Yes, let's start,
Yeah.
Nipuni.
Okay, sure. Okay. So once again, a very good afternoon to everyone who has joined with this virtual Q&A session. So it's been a couple of months that we launched Slim Brand Excellence for the year 2021, and we've been getting an immense support from the brand custodians to make this event a success. So thank you very much for accepting this with that love and warmth. And this was launched upon the theme Beyond the Next Frontier, and we've been getting a good response from everyone. And today we thought of doing this particular Q&A session specifically to address the questions or the issues that the brand personalities have with like when they are filling their application forms. So I think we have the ideal person with us to get all your questions and issued cleared. So this is none other than the head of jury for Slim Brand Excellence 2021, Mr. Imal Fonseka, who is also the chairman of Multi Finance PLC. Thank you very much for accepting the invitation, and good afternoon to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Tiffany.
Okay, so as I mentioned, it's been a couple of months that we launched this Slim Brand Excellence. So today we are going to address the questions that the audience is having when filling the application forms, especially for those who are applying for this brand excellence for the first time. So I believe we have some more coming in. So before moving on to the first question to you, let me tell the audience that we have given an open opportunity to each and every one of you. You can raise your hands and inform us that you have a question to be clarified, and then you can present your question to Mr. Imal directly and get your doubts cleared. So that's how it will happen today within the session. I hope it's clear. And let me first start by asking you, Mr. Imal, how have the things been? So we've been like about 1.5 months since we launched. So how have the things been, and how's the feedback? And are there any special announcements that we have to make to the audience with regards to Slim Brand Excellence 2021?
Well, I think the first is the announcement. I think the project chair has kindly consented to extension on the deadline.
Okay.
Nipuni, if you can just state that to start with, so that everyone is clear and comfortable.
Okay, so the first announcement, it was a joint decision that we have taken as a committee. So the deadline, extended deadline will fall on the 29th. So it was actually a request that came from the brand custodians itself. So we have heard you and we have listened to your concern. So the deadline will be extended until 29th of this month. It was the 25th earlier. So 29th will be the new deadline. So make sure you send your applications in before or on the deadline. And that's the first thing we have to say. And the other things will be stated by Mr. Imal.
Thanks, Nipuni. So just to start off with, I mean, I've been really excited with the amount of queries, clarifications that were sought. I mean, that just shows the passion and excitement all the participants have on this. So, I mean, we are more than keen to help and oblige. So just to start off with, before we get off to the question and answer session, I thought it's incumbent on me to give some simple tips. Couple of things. One is, remember, this is not a essay writing competition. Here is I mean, you guys have done extremely well in in difficult market conditions in the market. That is perhaps the most difficult thing. Getting a case done should not be your most difficult thing. So don't get too perplexed with what you see. Uh, just approach it like you have approached your business challenges, and life will be okay, right? When you are doing the application form, don't think of writing an essay. It is it is not a essay pressy comprehension exam, right? Keep your application as simple as possible. Include all the content, right? Something I have seen extremely effective in previous times when I have been in the jury is people who have used bullet points and illustrations. So, for example, you can start by saying, you can have a bullet point to say, bullet point number one, uh, market is 100 metric tons, growth within brackets, 6% growth. Now that very clearly establishes that. If you try to write it, you will start by saying, we estimate the AC Nielsen estimates the market to be 100 metric tons. Year-on-year growth is estimated at 6%, right? And that's just more than 5 to 6 lines, simply trying to communicate something that you can say in one simple line. And that first bullet point is going to be much more compelling and effective than a paragraph. So keep it very simple, write bullet points, give the information that's required. I believe that that's going to be more effective than writing paragraph after paragraph after paragraph, because the chance of a jury of peers missing it is greater when you do that. But if you give bullet points, it is very clear where they have to read and remember, and they will read and remember that. That's number one. Number two is also the fact that illustrations really work. I mean, for example, if you're talking about the positioning of the brand, if you are going to talk about the positioning of the brand, you have to talk of where in the consumer's mind is your brand position. You will have to talk of where the competition position itself. You will have to figure out, you will have to try and establish why your position is different, why you think it's more compelling, right? I mean, that's about a good half a page of stuff to write. But if you just simply do it as an illustration, right? If you do a simple mind map as illustration, where your consumer competitor's eye is very clear, where your eye is very clear, where you want to be is very clear. Can be done with a simple illustration, right? So just some tips when you're looking at it from that perspective. The second thing I want to bring out is, do not be unfazed, do not be phased with the boxes that you need to fill and the technical terms used in it. Simply understand what it is and just fill it, right? For example, let's look at one area, which is the question we ask is, what is the brand's naming strategy and why? Remember, this is not an exam. You are not being checked by examiners who have a answer sheet that they are scoring against, right? You're being reviewed by a panel of peers. So, for example, if you go through our explanation, it says, what is the brand's naming strategy? Then it says, is your brand umbrella brand or not umbrella brand, or is it monolithic versus individual? Is it discrete versus hybrid? Is it a sub brand? You don't worry too much about it. All it says is, what is your naming strategy, right? Just say it in one paragraph. You don't have to use any of these technical terms. Explain it to us in the same way you will explain it yourself, right? So keep it very, very simple. That's all I'm saying, right? So then, having said that, I will open up the discussion for questions. Nipuni, over to you.
Yeah, sure. I think we just answered at the beginning some frequently asked questions, FAQs that the persons who were filling the applications had. So we are open to answer more of your questions today. So we are opening the forum from now itself. So make sure you ask whatever you have questions from Mr. Imal, because he is here to answer your questions. So you just have to raise your hands and then ask whatever the question is, or else you can drop us a message on the chat box stating your name and the company name, so that we can give you the chance for you to ask the question. We are open for the first question of the day. So
I mean, don't be shy, man. I mean, I don't worry. You can, no question is crazy. No question is wrong. You're just asking for clarification. Do not worry about it. Just, I mean, just think of it just like a conversation you're having with someone of your friends. I can see someone raise the hand, right?
After Mr. Fernando, my name is Yasid. I'm actually representing Channel C. We are a small time TV channel. We are only on Dialogue TV as of yet. My main question for you sir, is what exact category do a small business like this should apply from? Because we have online presence as well, and also we are considered as a small enterprise. So it was a bit confusing.
No problem. If to qualify as a SME, Dimitra, correct me if I'm wrong, your annual turnover needs to be less than 50 million, right? Or 500 million?
500 million, Imal.
500 million, yeah.
Yes.
So if your annual turnover is less than 500 million a year, then you qualify as a SME. So you
Yes, sir.
can participate in the SME category without any issue.
All right. Okay.
Right? So that's number one. Number two is just because you're a SME, that does not exclude you from taking part in any of the major categories.
Understood.
Right? So no problem.
Thank you, sir.
And you can call me Imal, no misters here. Don't worry, we're all peers, we're all doing the same thing, right? We're all
Thank
trying
you
to
very
build
much.
relationships with our consumers, right? That's all we're doing. I might just be slightly older than you guys. That's about the only thing. Age shows, no, Nipuni. Kannadi him.
Okay, so yeah, so we'll be having a very friendly discussion like that. And I guess, Imal, we do have another question from Sahan Kirti Soma. Sahan, hi. So you may go next with your question.
Hi, Nipuni. Hi, Imal.
Hi,
Hi. I just wanted to raise regarding this point of differentiation question. I am actually applying through Harris brand for turnaround brand. And in there, we have stated the point of differentiations that we have. And one question that we have, that there is a question regarding distinctive and defensible and deliverable of the point of differentiation. And how defensive and is this deliverable of the point of differentiation? Can you please state an example of explaining this? How can we use? Because in the previous one, do we wanted to explain the point of differentiation or just state it and use it in here to explain it, how it goes? Because it's a two separate questions.
Yeah, I think the first one is sorry. So I can actually, I mean, when you use these words, I recall my old professor who was the author of this document, Dr. Udit Aliyanage. These are exactly the words he uses, and he's drafted this whole application based on what he used to teach us.
Yeah.
So when you say point of differentiation, I remember being at a cocktail with him and someone was making a presentation and point of differentiation, and they were talking. He had a laundry list, and Dr. Lianage tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Imal, if it's point of, if it's difference, it should be, it should, it is that what is the, if it's a USP, it should be a single point of difference. It can't be multiple USPs, right? So what I'm suggesting is, see again, listen, marketing is the art, it's not a science, so there's no one way of doing it. My suggestion is, if you look at, okay, let's assume it is Volvo, right? Let's assume the brand is Volvo, and your positioning is all around safety,
Safe.
right? So versus, for example, BMW will talk of performance, Mercedes will talk of luxury, Toyota will talk of reliability, right? Ferrari will talk of speed. Volvo focuses on safety. And so that is how it is positioned itself in the mind of the consumer, right? So that's your point of, that's it. And then so your point of differentiation is your positioning, and how defensible is that? So for example, Volvo was the first car to introduce seat belts. If you look at Volvo today, these are the things, safety features that Volvo has as the standard, versus in most of these models, those are options. right? So what I'm saying may or may not be true, but all I'm saying is that is how you approach it, right? So
Okay.
in your category, you look at your brushes. Is there something that's very different about it? It might be intrinsic, it might be extrinsic. I mean, intrinsic in the sense it might be something technically different in your. Okay, I'll get to a category that's similar to yours, right? You guys look at engine oil, or look at forget engine oil. Let's look at fuel. If you look at fuel is as generic as you can get, right? So the question is, how differentiated can you make fuel? So if you go to a Caltex service station anywhere in the world, they say Caltex fuel includes Tecron. Tecron is an additive that cleanses the cylinders as the car operates. So so when you pump fuel, 92, 95, I don't know, whatever crap from any petrol shed, it the point of differentiation is the Tecron. And so basically, your car is cleaner, therefore better performing, all of that. So that's a defensible point of difference. It's not as if Tecron is a patented thing, but the BP and Shell and those guys can't use. But once you take the high road and establish that catalytic fuel is enhanced with Tecron, you basically start owning that position, right? So that's your point of differentiation, and that is how you can defend your the point you have taken in the marketplace.
Right.
So main thing what I'm saying is believe in what you. I mean, think of how you have positioned your product. Believe in it. Say it in a way that you believe it and want others to believe. And don't worry. I keep on saying this is not an exam. So there is no, I mean, there is no right or wrong. Don't worry. We don't have professors here in our panel. Almost all our whole panel constitutes of practicing marketers like you and I who are out there creating brands, right? So don't worry. Just have
Oh,
fun.
yeah. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Sahan, for raising the question, and thank you, Imal, as well. And yes, we are open for more questions. I know you guys do have questions because we've been getting questions about the application forms and stuff. So make sure you use this opportunity to ask whatever the question you have.
Just a general answer. I mean, some things I've noted down or I'd like to discuss is some things that are critical in the application that really go a long way. Is, for example, when you're talking of your marketing communications, if your marketing communications was based on a strong consumer insight, then the case becomes more and more powerful, right? So that's something I would like to say. Uh, is there anyone from an MNC here who's applying for international brand? No. Okay, then I can continue. Uh, anyone applying for turnaround brand?
Yes, no, the previous question, Sahan, they
Sahan
said
for the
they were.
turnaround brand, right?
Yes.
So Sahan, for example, in your application, remember, there are lots of boxes and you have only 25 pages to print, right? Now you don't have to fill all the boxes in equal content. You understand you are applying for turnaround brand of the year. So what is, you go back, take a step back and say, listen, what's the most important thing I need to say? The most important thing you need to say is, I think, just two boxes. The first box is describe the crisis or downturn you experience and its reason. Right? That's it. The second box is, this is the strategy I adopted to reverse the crisis and overcome the downturn. Those are the two key things. Then the results are linked to that. Right? So since you have 25 pages, if I were you, I would spend a lot more time in those boxes and everything else just to support it. Because that's
Oh,
the real winning argument.
Yeah, true. Because actually when I am actually looking at filling the application, I also thought that that is the main things that we wanted to say, because some other question I haven't have more content to explain it also.
Don't worry, don't worry. Keep it simple, but focus on what's important for your case.
Yeah.
By the way, we can speak in any language. So Sinhala also I'm okay. My Tamil is not very good. Is there anyone can interpret? No, no. Anyway, English or Sinhala I'm okay.
Thank you, Imal. I guess our audience is having questions, but slightly reluctant to ask, I guess. So we'll say that, yeah, any language, there's no language barrier. Use Sinhala or English, we'll be able, Miss Imal, will be able to answer your questions. Um, yes, we do have one question from Nivarna. Yes, Nivarna, you may go ahead.
Hi, Nipuni.
Hi.
Hi. So we are representing HealthX, an app, basically a health app. So we launched this back in August 2020. So in the new entrance application form, it says it should be one calendar year or a financial year, under calendar year or a financial year. So just to check with you guys whether we will be eligible to enter, because we have launched back in August 2020 only.
Yeah, I don't think so. Dimitra, you can interject and reconfirm. My understanding is that the competition is open. The period of entry, the period of evaluation is from 1st of January to the 31st of December 2020. And then as a
Yeah.
new entrant to qualify, you should have launched the brand in 2019. And just to
Okay.
explain the logic behind it, see, when you have launched a new product, you need to show how your volumes have grown, how your revenues have grown, how your share has grown, or your transactions have grown, etc. So if you don't have that base year, it's very, very difficult for you to present a compelling case, right? Since so, Dimitri, I'm correct in that interpretation, right?
Yes, Imal. What Imal said was correct. Like we are looking from 2009, but for a best new entrant, it should be 2019. Either it can be December, October, or November, but it should have been launched in 2019. I'll tell you why we are looking at that, because nothing else. Because there are some brands who come for the market and won't last long, and they leave the market. That's why we are looking at 2019, which has been launched and currently in the market. That's why we want the entries, the new entry should be in 2019 launch. So Nirvana, you can apply for next year actually. Next year, definitely you can
Yeah.
apply for best new entrant for this category. Right? Hope you got my
Okay.
answer.
Yes. Clear. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you, Nivarna, for the inquiry. Actually, I think not just a new entrant, it can also be qualified for the like the innovative thing, because it's a health app. Next year, they can definitely try out. With that, we are open for another question. Yes, we have Ashika. Yes, yeah, Ashika, you can go.
Hi Nipuni, hi Imal. I just have a small question to ask. Like I am applying from Jat Holdings for the Cerelac brand. So when it comes to like our brand, the wood coatings, so I was initially planning to apply for two categories. One is for the international brand of the year, and other one is for the B2B category. So I just wanted to clarify, like if you take our sector, I'm moving to retail sector plus the industrial and B2B as well. So I'm catering into two segments, two markets as well. So when I'm applying for industry, that is a B2B category, should I only show the industrial sales? So correct me if I'm wrong. So if it's that or all the specific industrial products which is related to B2B sector, or should I show the entire sales figures which is including the retail as well?
So I'll answer your question in parts. Number one, since Cerilac is an international brand which you guys
Yes.
distribute, I'm correct, right? So
Yeah.
therefore, you are eligible to compete as in the category International Brand of the Year.
Okay.
That's number one. The second question is, since your category is fundamentally a B2B category, you are also eligible to compete in the B2B Brand of the Year. One does
Okay.
not stop you from on the other one. Right now, remember when you're talking of of presenting an of competing the international brand of the year, look at just go through the question, the intricate. There are some critical questions that you need to answer, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
see, the thing is,
Strategies used.
exactly. But the most compelling thing is if you look at international brand, what specific adaptations,
That
changes have you
yes.
made? Exactly. That is the one that will make see because if you have just brought in commercials from Malaysia and Indonesia and India and all this crap and just put it on, that doesn't make you the best international brand from that
Yeah.
perspective,
Correct me if I'm
right?
wrong, sir. What I was trying to approach is like, the product changes that we have adapted
Yes.
to Sri Lankan market, how it has been
Perfect.
responded, the consumers have responded to the changes that we have done, the adaptation into the current market. Those were the things that I was like hoping to include
Yes.
because it was
Brilliant.
very clearly showed that how the marketing mix has been, the adaptations have been changed. So I assume that those are the things that you might be expecting.
That's what we want. That's what we want. So base it on your insights. Say, this is my understanding of the Sri Lankan consumer. This is what the Sri Lankan consumer is looking for. Therefore, these are the adaptations we made into our total product offering. It can be just the communication part. It can be the product part. It can be the packaging part. Anything, right? And
Okay.
that's how we adapted it. So that's one. Then the second question you had to do was to be B2B. So
Yes.
when you're looking at your B2B, again, two things. One is focus on one brand. Don't look at Jet. So you're applying for Cerilac or Jet Holding.
Yes, correct.
You're applying for Cerilac, right?
Yes, Selak.
So focus on Cerilac. Within Cerilac, look at the B2B products and look at the B2B customers. So your
Okay.
data should all only be relevant to the B2B segment within Cerilac. That's it.
Okay. So, sir, then what about when I'm applying for the international brand of the year? So I have to put everything, right?
Yeah. International brand, anything that comes under Cerilac is part of that.
Okay. And
That's separate. Yeah.
yes, and another one
Go
more
on.
question. Like when it comes to the sales value figures and so on, like we have to evaluate within 3 years, right? So 2019, 20, and 2021, we had two major hits in the country. One is the Easter attack, and one is the COVID impact. So when we are representing the figures, so do you all expect
Don't
to
worry.
have like a very big positive growth, or because how will that impact the
Don't worry.
application overall?
Yeah. So don't worry. So Gangan is going to send a clarification to all the participants. That is why we thought of it this year and included that. So, for
Yeah.
example, first row is for either revenue or volume. You start with the base year being 100, and then you keep on showing it 103, 107, might be 9. So, I mean, let's assume it was a bad year, right? So, 100 became 97,
Hmm.
right? And you're saying, Jesus, now how the hell do I handle this? Right? Then the next line we have said percentage actually because the KJ was there's a small space issue and the rest of it has not got typed in. It's percentage market share, right?
Okay.
So when you put that in, you will see that yes, your volume has come down from 100,000 liters to 907, oh, sorry, 97,000 liters. However, your market share, which was 44%, is now 46%, right? So
Okay.
that's how you show it. Do
Okay.
I answer a question?
Yeah, partly. I will ask if I have any more questions.
Don't worry. So no. What I'm saying is, so don't worry. I mean, so for brand, we are looking at. So that's what I'm saying. You put it in context. You
Okay.
may have So there may be situations where your volume has declined, but your value has grown.
It's increased, yeah.
Right? There may be situations where your volume and value have both declined, but your market share has grown. Right? So, I mean, listen, we have all lived in this country for the last 2 years, so we know the situation. We are not like alien, don't worry. Right?
Okay.
But present your case in a compelling manner. That's all.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
That's right.
Yes, thank you very much, Ashika. I hope you are clear with the answers that Imal gave. And Imal, we do have a question from Ziv from Clean Tech Private Limited. So he's actually asking this because he has this technological problem. So let me present the question to you. What is the difference between estimated total market volume and estimated total market share? He's asking the difference between the estimated total market volume and estimated total market share.
So basically, so I'll give again, I'll use the Cerilac example. So the estimated total market volume is 1 million liters, and the estimated market share is 44%. Right? So the volume will most probably be in metric tons or liters or whatever the quantification is, and the market share will be a percentage. So the same thing applies. What is the estimated market revenue will be $500 million. What is the estimated market share? It is 53% market share. Right? Is that clear enough?
I hope it is. So anyways, we'll ask him to present us the question if he has any doubt about it. So yes, Zev, thank you very much for the question. And if there's anyone else that have any clarifications, any doubts or issues, make sure you use this opportunity to get them cleared.
I think we should be okay, right? I think people have been doing this the last, I think, 20 plus years. So it's, so I think the only thing is Gangani and Dimitri will just send a clarification on the volume and value table. I think that will clarify a lot of things, a lot of people. Sorry, there's one more question. I think.
Yes, that is Ashika again. Yes, Ashika, you can go ahead.
Sorry, I have another question.
No worries, no
when
worries.
it comes to B2B, the market research data, I have it like, based on an internal perspective, like how things happen. It's quite obvious, I think, for B2B category, it's a bit difficult for us to get market research data. So when I there is a part where in the application that it says that the market research data needs to be verified by the research agency. So when I'm producing internal data, how will that be applicable?
You just put the source. That's it. I mean, listen. I mean, most retail consumer businesses will have a Nielsen audit. I mean, if it's a B2B, you can just say source is internal, source is the customs import statistics.
Okay.
You can use, you just put for the sources. I think if you're where the verification is required is, for example, if you're quoting AC Nielsen or you're quoting a research agency of that caliber, then you will need it validated. But otherwise, it's okay. You can just say source, Imal Fonseka, not bad.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Okay. So thank you very much, Ashika. And to those who joined a little later, let me remind you again that our deadline has been extended till 29th of October. So make sure you send your applications in on or before the deadline. And yes, we are still open for questions. If you guys have any, you can just ask it from Imal.
Okay, I think we are clear, right? We can. And anytime, listen, anyone can call Gangani and Gangani.
Yes. So let me, yes, Imal, let me remind them Gangani's email address and the phone number, so that if you guys have any questions in the future when completing the applications, make sure you raise whatever the question is, because those who raise the questions from us know that Mr. Imal privately talked to those people who had questions and helped them clear those issues. So we can do such an assistance to you. So make sure you fill this application and send the completed one without any doubt. So there will be no rooms for any doubts. So I'll remind the email address of Gangani, that is gangani.l@slim.lk. gangani.l@slim.lk, and her number is note 70-326-6988. Note 70-326-6988. So if you guys have any clarification, make sure you just ask it from Gangani. So Mr. Imal will also be helping you with clarifying all issues that you have. So, Mr. Imal, all good, right? Is there anything that you have to say from your side?
No, I think we covered everything. So, as I said, just to recap, just to keep things simple as possible, and don't be unfaced with this lots of these technical terms.
Simple as that. Okay. Okay. So we will wind up for the day. Actually, this will be most probably the final. Yes, we do have something else. Yes. The email address and the number of Gangani have been mentioned in the chat box as well. So you can just write down and ask anything that you have with regards to filling the application form. So thank you very much for joining. This will probably be the last, the public question and answer session that we will have. So if you guys have any questions, make sure you ask from us. Like all our social media platforms are also open, be it Facebook, LinkedIn. So you may ask from any of us if you have any questions when filling the application form. So we will definitely inform you guys about the judging process and the interviews and everything, whether like we've been having questions, whether it will be a hybrid judging process, interviews, what will happen. So depending on the circumstances, we will definitely let you know. Stay tuned with us, and let me thank Mr. Imal. Thank you very much for being here, giving the relevant answers and clearing all doubts. Thank you very much for the assistance as well. And to the audience, thank you very much for, like, I know we all are busy, and tomorrow, day after tomorrow, both are going to be holidays, and I know how hectic the situations are. So thank you for joining with us. So let me wind off. Wishing you all a very good evening ahead, and thank you very much. As I mentioned, we are there to help you out, so make sure you get all your doubts and issues cleared before you send us your applications. So thank you everyone, and have a nice day. Stay safe and take care of all of you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you.